I recently read a 2018 article in MarketWatch by columnist Therese Paletti. In this article, Therese talks about how Amazon is one of the top four competitors for the most valuable tech company in the world. Other competitors include Apple, Microsoft, and Google. Those guys are all real big names, and we all know them and we all know what they do. But one thing that's kind of differentiated Amazon is their expansion into different services. There was a Axios article that I read from writer Sarah Fisher about how Amazon has moved into basically every sector from groceries to healthcare. And I think a lot of that success is due to the way that they present themselves on social media. For the purpose of this study, we analyzed Amazon social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Unlike other companies, Amazon has so many different divisions that they have a page for every single division. So that's pretty expansive, and those pages are shared across all these different social media platforms. Some of the pages included on Instagram were Amazon.com, which was basically the kind of pillar page, and then you had Amazon Vest Life. Vest Life kind of highlighted what some of the Amazon workers were doing in different factories. Amazon Home, which published home goods. Amazon Fashion, Amazon Programming, Amazon Prime Video, Inside Amazon, which kind of gave a sneak peek into the personal lives of Amazon employees, Amazon Launchpad that focused on startups, Amazon Studios, Amazon Publishing, Amazon Lifestyles, in addition to regional pages like Amazon Japan, India, and the UK. So it was pretty extensive to try to look into all those different things. I was most impressed with their Instagram presence. They've got all these different pages, and it's clear that there's not one manager for all of them. Every page kind of has its own personality. Um, they utilize great photography for their fashion pages, their home pages, and the lifestyle pages. And then they use video on most everything else. Um, Most of these posts had anywhere from a couple of hundred posts. Pages had anywhere from a couple hundred posts to a couple thousand. Amazon Music had 2,300 posts. Prime Video had 1,300. Passion had 29. Fashion had 2,900, and Home had 1,200. So those were some of the top posting pages. Whoever manages these pages, they post about anywhere from once a day to multiple posts a day, and I didn't see any gaps of more than 3 to 4 days in between posts. So you can tell that the velocity is pretty high on their posting. Um, and like I said, most of those utilized video, and they had to utilize picture because it's Instagram. But it was just some high quality photography that they had. There was one account I thought was interesting called Amazon Day One, which gave photos and stories about Amazon's history, its culture, innovation, employees, and its customers. Um, Amazon Vest Life was that other one, and it was made for Amazon associates, and it basically shows, in their words, Amazon delivering smiles to customers and celebrating what it means to be an Amazonian. So some of these pages kind of help them show the culture of Amazon. They're not just used to push products, although every post does have a call to action with a link that goes back to either an Amazon site or an Amazon affiliate site. So basically, every one of those is working to push sales while they're still offering pretty good content. Like the Amazon Music page basically had links to listen to new songs that had come out, or they had live sessions where they interviewed somebody, or they even had a Instagram takeover with I forget his name, John Legend. It was an Instagram takeover with John Legend, and that was pretty interesting. They kind of promoted that with a big picture of him, a little video. Um, but overall, it was just a pretty interesting. They've got tons of comments, tons of shares, and really just a lot of engagement. One difference that I saw from Instagram or from Facebook to the other sites um, was that on Facebook there were a lot of responses in the comment section. So on Instagram you might have a post with 39 comments, but none of those comments are replies from Amazon for the most part. I saw most of those replies coming on Facebook, and maybe that's because they're more visible, but I believe that they were dealing with a lot more consumer complaints, and through the comments they just tried to resolve those um, either with advice or with a link to help them. So, moving on to Facebook presence. What I noticed from looking at Facebook and Twitter is that their activity seemed to kind of mirror each other. Um, I took a look at Twitter first, so whenever I switched over to Facebook, I mean, any video that you had on one account, you had on the other. Most of the pictures were the same, and some of those were kind of simultaneous. And that was the same across all the different pages, not just the Amazon.com page. Um, but some of the pretty interesting stuff on the Amazon.com page, that one I think offered the most kind of generic Amazon branded content. Some of those things were a holiday toys list. They had a technology shopping guide. They had a wish list builder, so you could go click on that link. It would take you to Amazon. You can build your wish list of Amazon products. Um, Another thing they had was a post encouraging the use of shipment notifications. So there's a video of that in our presentation. But all these posts utilized video, picture, or GIFs. Um, every single one had some kind of engagement. And there's one, the other thing about the commenting um, from followers was that no matter the post type or what was being advertised, a lot of followers on Facebook specifically were willing to complain um, anyways. So even if it wasn't relevant to what Amazon had posted, users were comfortable commenting in the section, voicing their complaints, and that's kind of where we saw Amazon responding the most over on that platform, Facebook. So one other kind of shared video across the platforms was a Toys for Tots campaign. They teamed up with comedian Dax Shepard to distribute toys to kids in need. And it was kind of the same video. It was posted across all three of the platforms. It got pretty good engagement, and you could kind of see that they're not just pushing products, but they're also kind of showing their good image. Some other posts similar to that were a hurricane relief post. There was a California fire Red Cross post, and just among others. So one final note about Instagram was that most of the posts had comments in the hundreds. So that's another way that we kind of measured engagement. And they had shares from anywhere from 25 to a couple hundred. So moving on to Twitter. Amazon's Twitter presence was equally as impressive. Most of the comments were similar to the Facebook ones. They had the Toys for Tots video. They had links to create wish lists. They had shopping guides. One pretty fun post was a best of 2018 Prime recap, and it basically highlighted all of the successes that Amazon Studios was having with their different shows, and another one was the most popular deal found on Amazon.com. So it kind of highlighted these things and put it all into a booklet that you could look at. Fire Stick promotions were really big on Twitter. The main Amazon.com page, along with their regular posts, they also did a ton of retweets of all of the other Amazon pages. So you couldn't scroll more than the length of a page without seeing a retweet from Amazon Fire TV, or a retweet from Amazon Studios, or another Amazon Music. They're really, what I noticed that on Twitter, they were kind of really focusing on promoting video and music and their studios. One big promotion that they had, or tweet that I saw, was that it was about 3 or 4 tweets talking about how their big show, The Marvelous Miss Maisel, and another show, Homecoming, had both been nominated for 3 Golden Globes each. And then in addition to that, they have another Prime original show called Beautiful Boy, and the actor in that was nominated for Best Actor. So they had a ton of retweets talking about that, and a ton of regular tweets that kind of just promoted that, and promoted the use of Prime Video, or promoted the use of Prime Music. And the music posts basically just had either, all these posts had videos, pictures, or GIFs. But the music posts in particular even played a little snippet of a song with maybe it was a holiday themed Mariah Carey, or it was a new country artist. So I think they did a pretty great job of sharing some of those things. Another unique thing I saw on Twitter that I liked was these things called Amazon Stories. So Amazon Stories is what seems like a campaign that highlights entrepreneurs and their use of Amazon to become successful. Some of these were stories I had seen from Shark Tank, and then some were just stories that I had never heard of before. But it kind of shows a collaboration between entrepreneurship and Amazon, and it kind of proposes that offer that small business owners should use Amazon fulfillment to help them distribute their products. Another partnership they did at around the same time was with Shark Tank. So there was actually a video of Mark Cuban sitting at a basketball court, just giving entrepreneurial advice. He broke it down into 3 tips, and then they have a call to the action at the end of the post that says, check out our Amazon page with Mark Cuban to learn more. And so you click on the page, you find the same video, some of the same tips, and they just basically repackage that post into an entire page that users see and that they appreciate the content of. And then, of course, on that page, they also have a shop section, so you can shop for some of the Shark Tank books or some of Mark Cuban's books. So in all these posts across all the platforms, you could tell that they were offering good content, but they were also monetizing those things. And every post had a link to buy something or to browse something. And I thought that was a pretty good job because it was very subtle, but every post had it. And then, of course, and then they still had time to show off community service, like the Toys for Tots videos across all platforms, posts about the Red Cross across all platforms, and then different donations that they were doing. I really liked some of the campaigns on the various pages on Twitter. So Amazon Music had this pretty cool kind of lip singing campaign, and it basically just shows an animated kind of Kiss style lips singing whatever song it might be, and then at the end it turns into the Amazon arrow. And so that's just kind of how the video ends. So there were a bunch of these just with different songs promoting Prime Music. And then you might know that Prime Video is really trying to target the sports market. So they're going after football fans. They do streaming of some MFL games. And one thing that I saw that was interesting, they kind of utilize this on Twitter that they can't utilize as well on other platforms, was polls. So they held 3 polls, all related to football, but also all related to an Amazon Prime show or movie. So it might be about The Blind Side and Michael Orr, and the poll was, what teams did Michael Orr play for? So this relates to football, but it also reminds you that Prime Video offers all these different shows and movies that you can watch. Um, Amazon Web Services was another page on Twitter that I liked. They even had a hashtag for dogs of AWS, and I assume that was just employees' dogs that they allow to be on the page. So that kind of helps communicate the culture that they have there. And then dogs are already kind of a novelty item on Twitter, anyways. So it's definitely a good way to remain relevant, at least for that page that might not have anything to do with dogs. So another thing that they did on that particular page was highlight new features and services, and they had calls to action for followers to try those services. The Amazon Echo page, which was also shared across all platforms, highlighted features and sales promotions. If they weren't selling the Fire Stick, then they were trying to sell the Echo, basically. But if they weren't doing that, then they were trying to sell them together because they had a bunch of combo deals too. Lots of Black Friday posts and links to buy on Amazon. But in addition to that, the Amazon Echo had some retweets from Lexus, Bose, Audi, and Microsoft. Those are all tweets that were talking about Alexa and how Alexa worked with whatever particular device they were selling. So it's clear that there were all these pages across. Unless it was a Amazon.com page across all 3 platforms, I think that was probably managed by the same person. But whoever's managing Amazon Fashion probably isn't the same one that's doing Amazon Web Services, and I think that was pretty clear just through looking around. And it's pretty clear that they're really pushing their video and their music services. So one actually other pretty cool note that I found from that same Axion article, Sarah Fisher, is that Amazon is reportedly working on 2 social media networks. One is Spark, which is a shopping social network that's supposed to rival Pinterest. And then another one is Anytime, which is a standalone messaging app that could rival WeChat, Facebook, and Snapchat. And that's from a Amazon's Eating the Media 2 article from 2017. But in addition to all of that, Amazon is also becoming a leader in digital advertising. Amazon has a ton of information on shopping patterns that they own, and not only that, but they can apply their AI to make predictions of customers who they may not have as much information on. So they're going to start doing a lot of digital advertising on their own page, and it's basically a good way for them to be able to charge a premium because they can provide more targeted ads to advertisers and marketers. So that's kind of something that those other pages, Google and Facebook, because they do a lot of advertising too, they'll probably be watching out for that. So it kind of seems like Amazon has taken over the world. You know, they basically have their foot in the door of every industry, but they're continuing to expand and they're finding pretty great success. And if you're ever curious what they're doing, you can check their social media because they are right on it.